let's talk about 3AC and some comments that were made on a Twitter Spaces. So 3AC founders will apparently donate future earnings to creditors who lost money after the hedge fund imploded last year. This is according to what Kyle Davies said in a Twitter Spaces on Monday as a response to a question about the optics of him and Suzu working on a new crypto exchange from the beaches of Bali while 3AC goes through liquidation. Davies described the plan as a, quote, shadow recovery process outside of the liquidation proceedings. He also said that some early creditors have already been made whole. Wendy, I heard that big sigh of yours. So what are your thoughts on these comments?
Well, I don't like to get bit twice in a row. And I think that I feel like everybody was a bad actor. I prefer in that particular situation with the entire crypto contagion that happened, it was just kind of tiered levels of who was worse than the other. And I don't know, I just wouldn't want to do business or be a part of anything in relation to these type of people. And I feel like there's a lot more time, or people should be a lot more patient and wait for some of the lawsuits and things to play out before you use products or services from people. And that's a very important aspect of fundamental analysis that I feel like a lot of us in the crypto industry fail to use or even think about. I want to use a product by somebody who, has a particular type of pass or that I'm getting bad vibes from. And I know that sounds kind of off, but I really, like after everything that's happened, I would just be really cautious using anybody's product that's done something not so good in the past.
Go ahead.
Go. I was just going to say, to Wendy's point, we always say, do your own research. And part of that do your own research is looking into the people behind the project. You look into what happened at 3AC. And Wendy, I think your comments make complete sense. I want to point to this quote from a spokesperson for Teneo, who is the 3AC liquidator. They said, the founders of Three Arrows have willfully ignored multiple requests to assist with this process after initiating liquidation themselves. And the court records paint a clear picture of the ways in which they have hindered creditor recoveries. Just hearing that quote from the liquidator and comparing that with some of these comments made on the Twitter Spaces doesn't really feel like they jive. But Will, I'll pass it off to you.
Yeah, the whole article here is pretty interesting. This comes from a Twitter Spaces with Martin Fall, so it's interesting to see these characters jump into that boat. Martin Fall, of course, is like blowing up on Twitter Spaces right now and becoming like a pretty influential media figure. And for him to like invite these two on is interesting in and of itself. Sort of talking about like where the nexus of media is going. For Kyle Davies himself, I think, again, like another tone-deaf answer. And he's sort of leaned into this, right? Like he's tweeted a lot of pictures of him fine dining, being in Bali. He's had some quotes to the New York Times about like touching grass too much, you can only do so much for yourself. Like he's not really a character that people like, and he's sort of leaning into this villain thing, right? And so I think for him to go out there and talk about, hey, it's okay for us to do this creditor thing, you'll get paid back eventually. I don't think a lot of people who are millions to billions of dollars are going to like especially enjoy hearing that bit. And the last bit on it is like the plan doesn't really make sense, right? Often in crypto, you only struck lucky once, and to do it twice, especially after having such a bad track record, would be pretty outrageous. I agree with the creditors here, and I agree with the liquidator. They need to fall into line with that and start liquidating their assets accordingly. Wendy, I'll throw it to you.
Why don't people in crypto take advantage of PR? Like, I feel like crypto PR is used inappropriately or not the correct way. Like, they use PR for marketing purposes of their like actual company, when in fact, like they should be using that for themselves and hire like a team of marketers to help on that aspect. But if I was this particular person that was deemed as a bad actor, I wouldn't be flexing any type of wealth. I would literally just be begging for apologies. Like, I don't know. I just think that people do very cringy things. And
I'm with you, Wendy. He said in the Twitter Spaces, there's a connection between the new venture and creditors. And he says that creditors are going to be able to benefit from this new entrepreneurial journey. It feels like he's using this as like a way to promote open exchange. I just brought it up now. We're talking about it now. And a lot of people have said this new product, honestly, if brought to market by anyone else, it is one that could do well, and the tokenization of bankruptcy claims is an interesting way to look at these. But I'm totally with you on that one, Wendy.
Sorry, my nose was itching like crazy. That's why I'm like.
I thought that maybe you were making that face as a reaction to the story.